What's up, guys? Miss Bess here with another, not really a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video, but Star Wars nonetheless. This has been a long time coming. We are approaching, I think, 6 weeks since the release of The Last Jedi, and I figured that I would give it enough time for me to really mull things over, talk to a bunch of people, get a lot of people's inputs, get a lot of people's ideas, get a lot of people's opinions, and watch a few video reviews of my own. I watched Kevin Smith's, which if you haven't watched his review of The Last Jedi, I highly recommend it. Very good, solid review from not just a rabid Star Wars fan, but also a very big movie producer who has his own insights into the actual production and things he might have done differently, but then also his very insightful diagnosis and breakdown of The Last Jedi. So if you haven't watched Kevin Smith's video, his review, definitely go check that out. Real easy to find. He's a big personality, so you can find his video easily. But I have my own notes that I have taken, that I've written down on what I thought of The Last Jedi. So first things first, let me say this. At first, when I walked out of the video of the movie theater, I was like John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, the typical, GIF, whatever you want to call it, of him like looking around like, what did just happen? What did I just watch? Because I think myself, along with a very large group of people, were of the opinion that we all went in with this expectation of answers to be given, or questions and everything that we wanted from The Last Jedi. And I feel like it was a lot of unanswered questions walking out of the theater. So there were a lot of things that a lot of people didn't like about the movie that I also did not particularly like, but then there are a few things that people didn't like that I actually thought were pretty cool. And so I'm going to break down the movie, the WTF moments, and everything else from my own perspective. This is my perspective, my personal opinion of the movie. I liked it overall for some aspects, but then there were a lot of things in the movie that I was not a fan of, didn't like, and I felt were just superfluous, and just I thought that they were serving a political agenda, and I don't go to Star Wars movies to get politics. I don't want politics mixed in with my entertainment. It's just, there's a reason I don't watch The Daily Show and late night TV, because I don't particularly care for politics in my entertainment. And so when a movie and a franchise like Star Wars starts making political digs or political commentary in their movie, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. So that's just my own personal opinion. You can take it or leave it. You can stop watching the video right now. But if you are going to stick around with me, I am going to break down all the things that I thought were absolutely amazing, but then also the things that I thought were absolutely atrocious with The Last Jedi. So without any further ado, let's jump right in, and let's start right from the top. So, Poe, that opening sequence was very awesome. I thought it was really cool the way they modified Poe's ship. I thought the way that he stalled the First Order was kind of interesting. His playing, hey, yep, I'll wait, I'll hold. So, but then on the flip side, I feel like General Hux is like the slapstick humor. I think his over the top dramatic attitude is just, I think it's excessive, like just over the top. Tone it back, guys. Really, Hux does not need to be this, I'm the fifth order, I'm going to kill you all. It's come on. There was a reason that Tarkin was so intimidating, and that was because he was calm, cool, collected, and you knew that guy was just gonna F up. You just knew that he was gonna blow up a planet or something, whereas I feel like Hux is just, come on. I don't know, whatever. But at any rate, so disobeying the orders from General Organa was dumb. In my opinion, they made I watched the movie twice just because I wanted to catch the little things that I might have missed the first time. And Poe made the comment, we have the chance to destroy a dreadnought, which to me implies that there are other dreadnoughts in the First Order's armada. So he just trashed all of the bombers in the Resistance armada, everything they had left, which, I mean, we all know eventually the hangar gets blown up and everything else. Spoiler alert! And then, of course, the Raddus. Yeah, we all know the fate there. So, I mean, he trashed pretty much the entire Resistance attack fleet, which, I mean, I guess doesn't matter in the end, but still, he trashed the entire Resistance attack fleet. Bombers, most of their fighters. I think only a handful of A-Wings and X-Wings made it out of that engagement to take out a dreadnought. Not even the dreadnought, like implying there was only one in the armada, but the First Order obviously has more, and they wasted all of their resources, all of the lives, everybody who died in that engagement just to destroy one dreadnought. Now, that's not to say that maybe the dreadnought might have been able to hit the Raddus at the distance while it was running on fumes from the First Order's armada. I don't know. Maybe the dreadnought could have been able to, reach the Raddus in the 2-hour car chase that was going on after this sequence. But to me, I feel like it was just a waste of resources. I feel like Poe deserved, obviously, to get demoted. I thought it was just kind of dumb, though, because Organa Leia could have... I mean, was she only in contact with Poe? Could she not have told the entire attack fleet? Yeah, sorry, Poe's rogue. Come on home. We're not wasting you guys. Because once Poe realizes he ain't got no backup, what's he gonna do? Probably gonna come back to the Raddus and GTFO, right? So I thought that was a dumb sequence, a dumb decision. I feel like they just kind of painted Poe in a stupid picture. I mean, he felt like just I don't know, the way they portrayed Poe was cringeworthy, in my opinion. Going on, so then we flash to Ahch-To, where Ahch-To, however you say it, feel free to butcher me in the comments below. We've come back to Rey handing Luke the lightsaber. Luke takes it, and I feel like this is a tone setter for the rest of the effing movie, where Luke takes a look at his lightsaber, looks at it, and tosses it over his shoulder. That, to me, was basically like Rian Johnson saying, yeah, the Force Awakens, everything you wanted, every question you have, screw you guys, I ain't answering jack! So, I feel like that was kind of the tone setter for the whole freaking movie, was Luke just taking lightsaber. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, F this. Boop. So then Luke reunited with R2, though. This was a tearjerker, guys. And, I mean, if you go and watch Kevin Smith's movie, he practically starts crying when he's talking about it in the review. I mean, I went back and I watched it the second time after watching Kevin's review of this, and I mean, it didn't hit me as hard the first time because I was still trying to process everything that was going on in the movie. But when I went and saw The Last Jedi the second time, and Luke is walking around the Millennium Falcon. I mean, I got freaking goosebumps right now talking about it. He's walking around, and you can almost see the emotion on Mark Hamill's face when he's walking around as Luke in the Millennium Falcon. It's the ship that started Star Wars. I mean, and then when he runs into R2 and R2 plays the freaking the Help Me Obi-Wan Kenobi video, that was a dirty trick, because that it's a callback to this is where it all started. And I feel like a lot of people really didn't like the way that Luke was portrayed. And in my opinion, I feel like that was the perfect portrayal, because you really got a feel for Luke is coming full circle. He started as this no-name farm boy who we don't even know who he is, on a desert planet, hates farming, has to go down to freaking Tachi Station to pick up some power converters, and instead finds himself on this journey across the freaking galaxy to fight the Empire. So, and then I'll get to it at the end. But the way that Luke goes out, I think, is again a callback to that the way it all started. So, let's see what else. So then the Raddus, the command deck, when it gets destroyed, I think is so cheap. There's not really any other way to put it. Admiral Akbar deserved a better death than that. That's all I gotta say about that. You know, I think it would have been better fan service for Admiral Akbar to be the one who takes command after Leia is incapacitated. Mary Poppins Leia, other WTF moment of the movie. Mary Poppins, y'all. But yeah, I think Admiral Akbar, I mean, come on. He's flying a Mon Cal cruiser named after one of the other most influential Mon Cal admirals, commanders in Admiral Raddus. And you aren't going to let Admiral Akbar be the one who freaking flies that thing into the supremacy? I mean, come on, guys. Come on. I feel like they missed a lot of fan service there, but, you know, Holdo, I feel like she was justified. You know, a lot of people were like, well, why couldn't she just tell Poe the plan and you know, it could have saved everyone. Okay, I don't blame Holdo. In my experience, somebody F's up on the magnitude that Poe F'd up. You don't tell that guy what the F is going on. You can't trust him. He disobeyed a direct order and cost potentially hundreds of other resistance fighters their lives to take out a dreadnought against General Organa's orders. I wouldn't trust him any more than Holdo did either. I don't blame her. Now, could she have possibly done more to pacify Poe? I don't know, throw him in the damn brig? There's a lot of things that could have been done differently, I think, in that whole engagement there. But then the Finn Rose. So I did catch a continuity error the second time I watched the movie. And when Finn is going down to the escape pods, he sets his bag down in front of the escape pod and then starts talking to Rose. But then when he looks behind him and Rose looks behind him into the escape pod, all of a sudden his bag's in the escape pod. Continuity error, minor thing, whatever. Every movie's got them. If you catch any more, let me know when they are in the comments below, because I love catching little things like that, little trivia stuff. It's fun. But at any rate, so Finn and Rose and their little Canto Bight journey. Talk about a waste of time on a side quest. I mean, okay, so later in the movie, they've got the escape, the transports running out of the Raddus, and they're somehow able to cloak them from the scanners of the entire First Order Armada. So you mean to tell me that you can cloak, what was it, 20-something transport ships, but you couldn't cloak a little tiny ship, the little tiny ship that they used to go to Canto Bight? Okay. All right, fine. Okay, so you still need to go and find a slicer code breaker. Let's call it what it is. It's a slicer. That's the other thing. You know, they used a lot of terms in this movie that were a disservice to Star Wars lore. We all know what a slicer is. A slicer is a code breaker. So why not call them, you know, make a callback to the Old Republic days. I mean, I know a lot of you probably played Knights of the Old Republic where you sliced things. That's right. You were code breaking with your slicer. I mean, that's what slicers did. They were code breakers. So call him what he is. He's a slicer, not a code breaker. Come on, guys. And then Lightspeed. I think the only time in Star Wars history that it's been called Lightspeed and not hyperspace is The Force Awakens. Come on, guys. I understand that we all want to be like, you know, New Edge, and I don't get it. I don't understand. Why can't we just call it what it is? In Star Wars, it's hyperspace. Yeah, just call it hyperspace. We'll all be happier that way, okay? No more Lightspeed, hyperspace. Thank you. But anyway, so why did we need a slicer when we could obviously cloak all these transports? Okay, that's fine. Cool. I'll bite. I'll bite. So go to Canto Bight. First thing you do is land on a damn beach and get the police looking after you. Just freaking land the ship anywhere. I mean, you had a freaking cliff up there that all those, freaking human-faced horses, thanks PETA, that needed to be rescued. I mean, there were millions of other places, an actual spaceport that they could have landed the ship, and the whole prison sequence could have been avoided. But instead, they land on a freaking beach in freaking practically broad daylight, I'm assuming. I mean, come on. So much just frustratingly, Canto Bight just drove me insane. And then that was the whole political commentary BS that just, come on, guys, I get it. Okay, rich and powerful people, you hate them. Rich and powerful people funded this freaking movie, okay? So, headaches. Anyway, so Canto Bight, didn't like it. And then why did we need DJ to open the damn door? You got BB-8 right there. What the hell have Astromechs been doing for all of Star Wars? Opening doors that are locked. I don't know. Anyway, so we're not going to dwell on that anymore. And then I think that they missed a massive opportunity. Now, granted, they did sneak in a really, really good Easter egg with the guy who was the red plum pin or whatever. What else? The lapel pin. Awesome little callback, little Easter egg to Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones. His white suit with the red flower pin. There are some really cool little Easter eggs in the movie. And if you catch any more, please let me know in the comment section below, because I love Easter eggs. They're great. Watched a lot of breakdowns and Easter eggs and stuff like that. But that was one that I didn't see in a whole lot of other things. And I did see that one. I don't remember who tweeted it out, but I'll find it. But that was a really cool little Easter egg. But I digress. They missed an opportunity. That should have been Lando. I mean, come on, guys. Gambler. We all know Lando was a freaking gambler. And I don't know. I feel like there was just a missed opportunity there to include Lando in the movie. Could have been good. Then Holdo telling Poe the plan. Already addressed that. Should have been Akbar. Luke training Rey. So yeah, that was... I thought it was pretty funny, when he takes her up, he puts her on the thing, tells her to meditate, and then the freaking palm frond or whatever he had. You feel it? You feel it? Yeah. So then the way he actually explained the Force was also a real good callback to when Obi-Wan was telling him about the Force and how the Force works and everything else. So I feel like that was a really neat little callback to, the whole... totally untrained individual, knows nothing about the Force, and the Master explains it. And I feel like that was really cool. The way that Luke explained it to Rey was kind of a cool callback to Obi-Wan and explaining it to him in his hut on Tatooine. Then the Rey on the cave. It was a nice callback to Luke on Dagobah, but less of a moment. Because, I mean, when you're watching Episode 5 and Luke is on Dagobah and he goes down into that little not really a cave, but like goes down and he faces that projection, that visage of Vader, cuts off his head, and it's Luke's face. That was kind of just like, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on? Whereas Rey going down and putting her hand on, the whole snapping thing, I don't know, it was less of a like... It's like, okay, so Rey sees herself. What's going on here, guys? So that to me was kind of just, it was very anticlimactic. And then Kylo Ren, his origin story. We got 3 different accounts. Finally get we still don't really get a straight answer on what was the no joke, what happened. All we know is that he destroyed the Academy. We don't know anything about the Knights of Ren. We have that flashback when Rey finds Luke's lightsaber, and you see Kylo with his Knights of Ren, and we can only assume that is a flashback to Kylo destroying the Jedi Temple. But we don't know, because from what we see, it was Kylo trashes his hut or whatever that he's sleeping in, caves it down on Luke, thinks Luke is dead, and destroys the temple. But if that's the case, where did Kylo build? When did Kylo build his lightsaber? Did Luke not notice Kylo building a freaking red lightsaber? I mean, come on. I just, there's a lot of continuity there that they're kind of a little bit of a plot hole. Like, okay, so the Knights of Ren, lots of plot holes. But anyway, okay, so then, and then like, where did he get his outfit? I mean, did Snoke just like, here you go, brah. Here's your nice cloaky freaking wannabe Sith outfit. Puppet Yoda, awesome, freaking awesome. So glad they didn't use CGI. I think it was so great that they used a puppet. Again, call back to Episode 5 where Luke really freaking it gets back to training, back to the basics, and I feel like Yoda comforting Luke on the fact that yeah, okay, you failed, but failure is a learning experience. You learn from your mistakes. And I feel like knowing that Count Dooku was once Yoda's apprentice, I kind of feel like you kind of have to know that Yoda's he knows. He's coming from experience. He is talking from a point of experience, and that the way that he kind of like, dude, Luke, pull your head out of your butt. Failure is part of the process, and so no better mentor than Yoda, who had to cope with the fact that his former apprentice became a Sith Lord, Darth Tyrannus, and so Luke hasn't seen Kylo come to that point of talent. I mean, so I feel like that was really cool. And then I thought it was interesting, a Force ghost being able to call down lightning and troll Luke with destroying the tree, and Luke's reaction to the sacred texts, and Yoda just laughing about it because he knows Rey took him. But anyway, so then Rey goes to Kylo. I thought that was kind of like, okay. The Snoke betrayal. Oh my gosh, biggest WTF moment. You've got this guy who came out of nowhere, created the First Order, and all of a sudden he just gets cut in half. And I'm just like, what just happened? Like, seriously. And that was a total mood killer the first time I watched the movie in theaters. I was like, okay, so I guess we can know who Snoke is. Dude just gets cut in half like a chump, but he's all powerful. Can drag Hux across the command deck of a ship via holoprojection, but whatever. He just gets cut in half like a chump. Thought that was just WTF. The Poe mutiny. Yeah, I feel like that was just time wasted. Just Poe being. They're just painting Poe in this just ridiculous light where he's just incompetent, incapable of seeing the bigger picture. You've got Admiral Holdo, probably knows what the F she's doing, so come on, bro. I understand he wanted to buy time for Poe, or for Finn and Rose, but then again, like, come on. Stupid. Then the DJ betrayal, dumb. The Kylo and Rey versus the Praetorian Guards, oh my gosh! The cinematics on that and the fight scene was just wicked awesome, despite the fact that Snoke just got cut in half, really killed the mood. They really kind of brought you back into the enthusiasm, kind of brought the movie back to life with that fight scene. It was awesome. I thought the Praetorian Guards were just wicked. In the original trilogy, you never got to see the Royal Guards in action, so when we got to see the Praetorian Guards just like start wrecking stuff, if it had been just Kylo by himself, dead. If it had been just Rey by herself, dead. That is a straight up testament to how freaking monstrous these guys were. Without two potential, like, obviously powerful Force users, they're doing their best to let you know that Kylo and Rey are really powerful, but together they're like unstoppable. I thought that was really cool, really awesome sequence. Really, really, really good, really well choreographed, really awesome fight scene. Probably the best scene in the movie, honestly, because there wasn't a whole lot of action in the movie, and so that was about as close as we got to a lightsaber battle. Just gonna say it there. This is as close as we got to a lightsaber battle, and that's really all we wanted, right? Was some freaking fight scenes, not a 2-hour chase scene. But at any rate, let's see. I'm going through my notes. The Raddus getting freaking flown light speed into the supremacy as soon as Leia let Holdo stay there with the ship, and Holdo was like, I got this. You go, Leia. I got this. I knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew that she was going to go to the freaking command deck, she was going to turn a 180, and she was going to go into light speed. I was like, dude, she gonna fly straight into that sucker. And she did. She and the silence there, because nobody can hear you scream in space. Yeah, that was awesome. There's the dead silence in the theater with that straight there's a reason that the movie got nominated for Oscars for best visual effects, because oh my god, that was amazing. Like, I think that's the only time we've ever seen the straight up impact, like what happens when a ship jumps into light space through a fleet of ships. Like, we've seen plenty of other ships come out of hyperspace as other ships are about to make the jump, and they just, I'm thinking of Rebels, specifically here, where, Thrawn's fleet comes out of hyperspace above the Rebel planet, and these ships are trying to jump into hyperspace and just get crushed on the sides of these Imperial Star Destroyers. I thought it was wicked to see the destructive power of a Mon Cal cruiser just punching it into hyperspace right into a fleet of ships. I thought it was really, really cool, really awesome special effects. The dead silence in the theater was just icing on the cake. And I swear, the first time I saw the movie, and even the second time, you could hear a pin drop in that theater. There was nobody digging in their popcorn, drinking their soda. It was just dead silence in the theater, and everybody just like, holy crap. Like, it was awesome. It was awesome. So, then the Phasma fight. Oh my gosh. Why cast someone like Gwendolyn Christie in an awesome role like Phasma and have this, like, intimidating... when Rose started shooting her blaster at Phasma, and it's just like... look at the... What? Don't... Blasters ain't gonna even put a scuff mark on my armor. And then she just, like, falls. Like... I feel like everywhere that Finn was in this movie was just, like, completely underwhelming. Like, you think it's gonna be awesome, and then something happens, and you're just like... What are you doing right here? Like, come on! Finn had a chance to be awesome, and you cut it short. Come on! So then, the Kylo plus Rey conflict after the fight, I thought that was kind of like, okay, makes sense. There were some small continuity errors. Kylo's lightsaber's just laying on the floor somewhere, but suddenly, magically ends up back on his freaking hip. I don't know. The finding out who Rey's parents are, so anticlimactic. Like, I get it. You want to feed us the narrative that you don't have to be a Skywalker to be ungodly powerful with the Force, but I still don't buy the whole your parents were junk traders who just sold you for scrap. I don't buy that for 1 second. I think that Kylo was trying to instill weakness in Rey, make her feel like she needed him to be complete and to actually be powerful. So I feel like that was maybe Kylo trying to mislead Rey. I'm hoping that's the case, because I'm not happy and I'm not content with Rey's parents being a freaking bunch of junk traders that just sold her for scrap to some junker on Jakku. The next thing here, Crait, I believe, is Hoth 2.0, but it is what it is. Only one way in or out, but suddenly they can get all those guys out into the trenches. Let's see. So then, another little Easter egg callback. When the Millennium Falcon is flying through those caves under the surface of Crait, if you watch closely, the reflector dish, the whatever you want to call it, the nav dish, the satellite dish, whatever, on the top of the ship actually gets knocked off again. A little callback to episode 6 when they're flying out of the Death Star and it gets knocked off the first time. Which, well, Solo is coming out. We don't know if it's been knocked off before, so at any rate, but this is the second time it's been knocked off in the current sequence of movies. Then Finn almost destroys the cannon. And you know what? I feel like that would have been like the ultimate 180 for Finn, because he's been running from conflict the whole time we've seen him. From The Force Awakens, he's trying to get away from the First Order. He's about to leave them on out of Maz Cantina. He's trying to get away at this whole movie. I mean, at the beginning of The Last Jedi, he's trying to get away. I mean, granted, to lead Rey away, he doesn't want Rey to come back to the Force Order chasing her, fall right into the First Order's hands. But then on the flip side, this could have been his redeeming moment where he's like, you know what? I'm not running anymore. I am sacrificing myself for the greater good. I'm going to make sure that my friends can get the hell out of Dodge. And I feel like Rose, another reason why Rose, I think, is one of the most frustrating characters in the movie, because she totally cannon blocks Finn. Like, come on, guys. And then somehow magically Finn is able to drag Rose back to the bunker without getting shot by the 15 different walkers. Just, I don't know, whatever floats their boat. They got to get Rose and Finn back somehow. And then nobody answers the distress call. Like, come on. Like, where are we going? What's episode 9? I mean, are they suddenly magically going to find, like, a resistance stronghold or a bunch of people sympathetic to the resistance out somewhere on the Outer Rim? I mean, what? Literally, the resistance now fits on the Millennium Falcon. That's all you've got, is everybody in the resistance fits on the Millennium Falcon. And what are we going to do with episode 9? I feel like this movie just set it up for nothing. Like, it's like Rian Johnson was like, hey, JJ, I know you're directing episode 9. Here's nothing to work with. So, I don't know. So then the Luke-Leia reunion was freaking awesome, where Luke walks in and they kind of have that moment where it's like, they're like brother and sister really coming back. And I feel like it was a really cool moment, where Luke hands her the dice from the Millennium Falcon. I thought that was kind of like, I don't know, it was an emotional moment for me, so it was cool. Then Luke walks out of the smoke. That was cool. Hey, yeah, good try, Kylo. And then right before he disappears, see you around, kid. If you remember, that's exactly what Han Solo said to Luke in, I believe it was episode 5. So, and all these callbacks to Han Solo were really, really cool. I mean, Han Solo is one of my favorite characters in the Star Wars universe. Any of you who've been watching my videos know that. And so all these callbacks to Han Solo, the see you around kid, all that stuff was really cool to me, and I feel like it was well done. And then the end scene, where Han Solo, or where Luke disappears, where he becomes one with the Force, looking out at the twin suns. That, like I said earlier, was a great callback. It ends the way it started. It's come full circle, and I think it was a cool callback to the first time we meet Luke. He's standing there in that iconic pose with his hand on his leg. Looking off into the sunset, the twin suns. And I feel like it was a nice touch, nice callback, and a nice little effect kind of bringing Luke full circle. Then the sacred texts, if you didn't catch it, were on the Falcon in that drawer where Finn is opens the drawer. I believe it was Finn who opened the drawer, and there's the texts right there. And then I feel like the end scene, that last scene with the kid, Force pulls the broom to his hand. Please don't make episode 9 a freaking Phantom Menace 2.0. Please. Anakin 2.0 can't handle it. Can't handle it. And if Rian Johnson is if his trilogy is about that kid and not the Old Republic, I'm going to have a hard time with that. But we'll see. We'll see. And that about does it. All in all, guys, I feel like there was a lot in the movie that I really, really liked. But then there was a lot in the movie that just had me scratching my head going, why? Why did you... What is going on here? Like, I can understand both perspectives. You know, you've got the fanboys who are, you know, we want to know who Snoke is. We want to know who Rey's parents are. We want to know this. We want answers. We want action. We don't want a 2-hour chase scene. But then there's the other people who, you know, thought it was an amazing movie, and I can see both perspectives. I'm kind of on, you know, leaning more towards the WTF side. Where were the answers? All in all, guys, I feel like it was a pretty well-made movie. I definitely don't know what the heck to expect from episode 9. It's I'll be interested. I don't know. I'm skeptical at this point. I think one of my biggest reasons that I was so disappointed in the Last Jedi was there was all this hype, all this buildup, and it was so anticlimactic to me, anyway. And so, all in all, guys, this is a long video, and I appreciate it if you stuck around to the end. If you have any comments, which I know you're going to have some comment, please drop them in the comment section below. I make a very honest effort to answer every comment that I receive. I always love engaging in conversation with you guys. It's always fun. I always learn something. And I guess thanks for watching, guys. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Really helps me out a lot. And if you aren't already subscribed, feel free to subscribe. I know I've been out for a while, and I'm going to have a different video, similar format to this, me just kind of talking about where I've been, what I've been up to, and where the channel is headed in the future. With that, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you later.